everyone, and welcome to today's LA Made. My name is Diane Olivo-Posner, and I am the Principal Librarian of the Exploration and Creativity Department of the Los Angeles Public Library. Before we introduce today's program, I want to make sure to let you know to please check out our upcoming programs on the LAPL online calendar, which you can find at lapl.org. I want to highlight tomorrow's author program at 4 o'clock with New York Times bestselling author Chris Colfer, who will be talking about his latest book, A Tale of Witchcraft. Then on Saturday at 11 a.m., there will be the Halloween party for families, including a bilingual story with myself and Miss Celia. There will be a choose your own adventure, a puppet show, and a dance party. Plus, on Monday, November 2nd, from 5 to 7 p.m., there will be the Dia de los Muertos family celebration. There'll be music, there'll be storytelling, there'll be arts and crafts. So please check it out on Monday, November the 2nd, from 5 to 7. Today is all about the LA Made program, Papel Picado, with self-help graphics. For those not familiar with LA Made programming, I want to let you know LA Made focuses on the diverse landscape of Los Angeles, highlighting the immense artistic talent that has developed in the course of the city's eclectic history. I would like to thank the National Endowment for the Humanities, our Library Foundation, and our behind-the-scenes staff for helping us bring these amazing virtual programs to all of you. The next LA Made program will be on Thursday, November 6th at 4 p.m. Don't Call Me Ugly, a fresh look at modernism. So join us for this engaging, interactive virtual tour from the Los Angeles Conservancy as we critique some of the tough-to-love buildings of downtown Los Angeles. And perhaps in doing so, you'll really see them for the first time. Seeing the beauty of the 1970s architecture can be challenging for some. And why is this era of architecture so misunderstood? Well, perhaps we need to review and reconsider the times in which these buildings were constructed. Now on to today's program. Today, we learn how to create traditional Dia de los Muertos crafts to honor the dead from self-help graphics and Arts Barrio mobile artists. For this workshop, you will need a colorful tissue paper. I have mine right here. A Papel Picado template, which we have on our website if you want to download it in case you haven't. Here's the template. A stapler, twine or string, and a glue stick. Self-help graphics and Art Barrio Mobile Art Studio serves to nurture emerging artists and present Latino art to a broad audience and addresses the vast demographic that is Los Angeles, while also expanding our audience and community beyond the East Los Angeles and Boyle Heights community. You can learn more about self-help graphics season of Dia de los Muertos programs at selfhelpgraphics.com or on their Instagram at SHG1970. Now, over to Martha from Self-Help Graphics. Gracias.
Hi, welcome and thank you for coming and being interested in Papel Picado. Here at Self-Help Graphics, we teach this every October. Every Saturday, we invite the community to come on in and just enjoy our space and our company and theirs. And they go ahead and they make Papel Picado like this. So this is a very special one that was designed by Daniel from Self-Help. And what we do is we're going to go ahead and take this as the cover. And we're going to go ahead and staple it onto here. I'm going to use an X-Acto knife. He uses chisels. If you watch our video on YouTube, I'm going to use X-Acto knife and a cutting mat, which is here under. Let's see. I am a Barrio mobile artist here at Self-Help Graphics for about 7 years now. And I really enjoyed learning these arts and crafts and teaching it to the community. Let's see here. We'll begin by trimming the end here. Because I want to, where it has this cut line, I want to line that up with the fold of my tissue paper. So I've taken this, it should be rectangular shaped. I mean, it doesn't really matter the size if you're working. So I went ahead and took rectangular tissue paper, different colors, layered them, folded them in half, making sure that they're pretty precise right down the center. And I'm gonna trim. Let me see. All right, so anything that is on the fold will be unfolded into a double, like an upside down heart here, like the other side of the whole skull there. So what I want to do is I want to leave a longer part on the top than on the bottom, because you see the bottom, we're going to cut these scallops. But on the top, I want to leave something much bigger that I can fold down and hug this twine or yarn. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that you're not cutting the top, you're cutting the bottom and the sides. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and prep this. By stapling. So I choose the places I want to staple, like the eye, for example, things that I'm gonna leave until the end. I'm gonna cut all around first, leave these as kind of the anchor, right, that keeps it in place there. So then I'll staple other spots that I can reach there to secure it. And that should be fine. So leaving the top the way it is, I'm gonna just go ahead and cut down the side. So these scissors are good for detail small work, but I'm gonna grab just the next size up. Maybe I'll angle this down a bit there. There you go. And then the bottom, we just kind of go with these half moons. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know, any cut you make will really show up as nice design patterns. Now this one is, you know, a little advanced, I would say. I have another design that is a little more simple than this. And I'll show those to you next. So just so you get an idea of what we're doing here before I get on into the cutting. So because I've cut the side, I've left the top the way it is, right? Then you have it on the fold. So I'm gonna set this aside just for a moment so that I can show you what I was talking about. Now this is a little more advanced, right? With all the details and the small cutting pieces. This would be something, for example, easier, simplified, that you can do. Putting this on the fold. What I did with the Papel Picado behind me is I turned this into a heart instead of a flower or star. I eliminated the stars. And I didn't add all these dots here. Behind me, I also used something as simple as this. So you can even draw it yourself and then just staple all around, stacking a bunch of tissue paper this size, and then just cutting. And what I did is I added that as my in-between. You can see behind, in between the rectangles, there's skulls there. So those are different easier ways to go at this. Another way for beginners would be to just take one and you're gonna go ahead and just make yourself a fan fold, right? So this is a very good way to start and get the idea of what you're gonna be doing. So you fold it back and forth until you get to the end. And remember that you're going lengthwise, giving yourself all this length to fold. So I hope that you guys are all following along and doing your own version of this Papel Picado. You would choose your favorite colors, string them. Sometimes if we're making this for a specific loved one that has passed, then we think of what are their favorite colors? What would they have wanted their altar, right, to have? Traditional colors are simpasuchi, which is our marigold or flower. That is very popular to use the orange and yellow gold, greens to represent nature and plants. So once you did all this here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scallop the bottom by doing a half circle. So this is if you don't have a pattern, you didn't print it out, you want to just follow along and make a bunch of cool ones. You can do this. You could even layer a bunch of different, like maybe up to 3 if you're going to do this like hand cut, hand fold. So just know that the top you're going to leave alone so that you can fold it over. The bottom already, as you can see here, has the design that you need. So all along here, if you guys have ever made like snowflakes, it's kind of the same idea. Whatever you cut half of will unfold to be your papel picado. So I'm going to go ahead and make just different patterns and cuts. Every cut you make will turn into something, and you'll see. So I'm cutting from this side. I'm also going to cut from this side and see how that turns out. Big diamond shape here. So if I want a diamond, I'm going to cut a half diamond into it. Okay, so I just decided to go with the scissor cuts in case you guys didn't get to print this out or don't have an X-Acto knife for the other pattern. So far, let's just open it up to see what is happening so far. So you can see that me cutting it like that so far has made this. I left the top the way it is so that I can fold over, right? So that would be one way. If I want more cuts after I've opened it up, I can always close it up and say, you know what, I want more detail in here. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. And then maybe so just by making those 2 cuts, let's see here what happened. It's pretty fun to see how you open it up to become a really cool pattern, right? So I'm going to leave this one alone, and I'm going to move on to our pattern that Daniel has given us. So because of time, I'm probably not going to finish the whole thing, but I'm going to start in all these important parts to show you that the design is going to start coming through. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can. What I'm going to leave for last, though, is going to be these 3 that I've stapled. But I'm going to try to cut around what is going to start showing you. So I'm pressing pretty firmly where my finger turns pink and white, right, from the pressure. And you have to make sure that you're dragging it across as you're cutting all the layers. After that, you have you've made confetti, right? So that's one. Next, press it down firmly, pull towards you. Always lift your knife to make turns and exact cuts. You don't want to cut your hands either, so keep your hands away from that. Applying pressure, sliding across. All right, so as you can see, we are so far doing cuts we make are making your design through the paper there. It's like magic, right? So I'm gonna make this a little bigger than what he asked us to do, just so it's easier to cut. I feel like some of these tiny cuts make it much harder than we need to. So see, I just did that, and already you're getting the shape of the skull head there. So I'm gonna try to speed it up. So papel picado, from what I've learned traditionally in the altar and in celebrations of Dia de los Muertos, represents air. And in the altares, traditionally we would have the 4 elements, air being one of them, earth, water, so here we go. So I'm gonna choose to do the nose next here. This curve is gonna be hard to do, so I'm gonna lift my knife and I'm gonna keep cutting. A scissor cut would have worked here too because you're right on the edge. Okay. All right, so you see that cut gave me a nose. Pretty soon, I'm gonna simplify the teeth here by just making rectangular cuts. Because for me, curves are very hard to do. So I'm gonna make rectangular teeth. It's really hard to cut these tiny pieces, but I think we're good. My skull may have a gap in their teeth because that's the way it went. So you're gonna have to just take your time and see it's all coming out. So far, there we go. Now we need to do the top. So I'm just cutting out the white parts, right? We're cutting out the white parts. We're leaving the black as the pattern. So, all right, there we go. So I had to make a bunch of these, and my finger was hurting the next day. So be ready for that if you really get into it here. To make a bunch of strands, you'd have to do this quite a few times, you know? You don't want to stack too many sheets at a time because then you'll find that your X-Acto will just kind of drag a lot and it won't really cut through. It'll just get really frustrating. So don't rush it. You got to take your time. I'm not going to make those tiny cuts in the middle. I'm going to leave it like that just to save some time here, and those are really hard to do. So feel free to just make your own version of this once you print it out. You know, you'll decide if this set is like this and the other set has even less detail, or the other set has more detail, you know. Another cool way to add detail is hole punching. I've done that before. Hole punchers, just a lot of fun to do around the edges or anywhere you can reach within there. Papel picado is used in celebrations, not only Dia de los Muertos, but Also weddings, birthdays, and all of those types of gatherings, right? To celebrate. All right, so what I will do next is the 3 stapled parts. I'll start with this one. And we save the staple parts, remember, till the end so that they're holding everything in place for you. Some people staple the actual papel picado. I don't agree with that now. I did in the past because you're just ruining it for no reason. You're making holes in it when all you could have done is, oh, you see how the X-Acto was pulling at the tissue there. So I got to be a little more careful. All right. So you got to just stab it in, drag it along. Okay. So once we got all of this, we have just the eye to finish up. The flower would be a lot to do, so I'm going to go ahead and make it a socket, an eye socket, skull. So here we go again, simplifying it. Don't be mad at me, Daniel. It's a beautiful design. I just all the time today to show you on here. So what I did is I simplified it. Oh, here it comes. So once you've cut all the parts that you need to, then you will know that it's ready for you to open up. And beautiful. So we have magenta, blue, pale blue. This is the marigold color. I don't know if it comes through with our lighting here. So this is the more traditional marigold color, and this is a lime green. So, and you're left with this cut up pattern here, huh? All right. I'm back. I also wanted to mention something. I made a mini altar, right, for Dia de los Muertos. And it's including miniature papel picado there. So this is a shoebox that I turned into an altar. Now everybody can do this at home. Now there's no excuse for I have no room for an altar. Yes, you do, right? Okay. So I'm back. Sorry about that. I am actually at work. And here at work, we specialize in screen printing. So what you hear in the background is a pressure washer that we need to use to keep our screens clean and not clogged, right? So I'm going to show you the template that I made again here for this one. I feel like it would be really cool to have this in different colors, not just white, right? So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my tissue here. We have this. So after this, I'm going to go ahead and make some of these, but maybe I'll show you how we can string these along. Because I made this one and it's different than all the rest, I'm going to put it probably in the center and then put all the other ones with it. So I'm going to stand up for this part. I'm going to show you guys what we're going to be doing here. Okay. So now the table's full of confetti and it looks real cool. Gonna move it over. Clean it up later. I'm not sure how much more time I have with you guys to actually demonstrate before the Q&A. So anybody that has questions, start thinking about them and be ready to ask, because I'm also going to talk about other cool stuff. So the top of the papel is flat, right? We didn't cut any scallops. This is the bottom. So this would be the center. I want to put them together in a pattern so that the colors aren't like side by side the same. I don't want to put this one next to this one, right? So I'm going to set this one aside for now. And I'm going to I think it'd be cool just because I have two of these, maybe to make a pattern like this, choose what goes well together. I feel like this is cool. Maybe I'll do the sky blue next to it. So you're gonna try to give yourself maybe like an inch or so in between each, or it's up to you how much room you want to give. You can give more than that. All right. So what we did is 1, 2, put them in order that you're gonna string them. All right. And then set them aside. I'm gonna grab this yarn. Anything works here as long as it's thick enough. It could be twine, yarn, whatever you think. So at the edges, I want to give some room, at least like 6 inches or a foot, right? So you can tie it up wherever you need to. Then I'm gonna take this tissue and we have a glue stick. Let's see. I can sit for this part. This glue stick, you're gonna go upward very gently, carefully, because it's very delicate. You want to do this so that you can put it like this. Once you got that, I used to use white glue, school glue, right? But Elmer's glue. But it got a little messy and it didn't dry as fast. So as long as you put a good amount. Okay. After you've done that, you can fold it over. Oop, see, be careful with that. Just press it. And you have your first one strung, see? So that's really cute. Scoot it over. And next. And because you've already put them in order, it makes it very easy. So I hope that this inspires you guys not only to make some of your own, right, for your window at least, your altar if you've made one. It's always nice to say that you made it yourself. They do sell them at the stores here and there. But make it yourself, and also you can draw one and design it yourself. Sometimes we add people's names into it, something that reminds us of somebody that we love and has passed. All right, so I'm trying to see if I can give it about the same distance there. Flap it over, fold it, press it gently. All right, so now we have 2. Okay, and next. The strand that I have hanging behind me has 3 different designs in multicolor that I included in each strand. And I think we made about 8 or 10 total strands. So it was a lot of work. And thanks to my friends, we were able to do it together. It's a lot of fun to have friends help you, and you get to catch up, chat, talk. Sometimes you get to listen to music or watch something fun. So right now I know we're not supposed to be gathering, so do it by yourself. Wear your masks and be 6 feet apart, right? Do it at home with your family. There's plenty of family to do it with, right? We have more time now. Now we have something fun to do together. So see, this is the one that I hand folded and just cut patterns into, and that looks pretty cool next to Danielle's beautiful, amazing design, right? So just to kind of break it up, something different. Okay. Oopsie, that could have torn. So please be careful. Don't hate yourself if you mess up, because even with my experience, I mess up too. So be kind to yourself as you do this. Teaches patience. All right. I don't want to bore you by gluing all of them, but we'll stop here. This is it. Look at that. We'll stop this part here. I'm not done yet. But it's so beautiful, right? So make it yourself. Make it at home. Again, I'll show you. Here's my little tiny one, so you can see how little they are and how cute. Each one is a different design, so it was a lot of fun to make. I also have a video up if you guys want to check it out on this one. I won't talk about this too much, but it includes flor de papel and papel picado also. And if you can see the mini corn in there, I didn't make that. I went to El Mercadito de Los Angeles, which is my favorite place, and everyone should go and support and buy all of your Mexican needs there. Okay. So, yeah, that's what I made here today. Same as what we made over there. It's a lot of fun, and any color will work. Just have fun with your favorite colors. So this one is not, you can't download it, but I mean, as you can see, it's just hand drawn. So you can just Sharpie something yourself, whatever your favorite design is, or any cool skull that you like. And this one, you can scissor cut or X-Acto knife. So I'll show you how I scissor cut on this one. So you get to see both methods. I'll pull different color skulls here. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. I think this one you can do many more sheets stacked up because you're not using X-Acto right now, and they're not even folded in half. So when you fold something in half, you consider that if it was 4 sheets, it turned into 8 sheets of thickness, you know? So this one, I'm just cutting like that. So let me add, maybe that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 6 sheets total, just so I have 6 skulls when we're done here. All right. This pattern is a lot smaller, so I'm just going to use it sideways so that I can use this paper for something else. So always be considerate of that too, of your supplies. Everything can be used again for something else. So see, just staple along the outsides. Here we go. Alright, and just so I can get to this side, I'm going to trim off what I don't need here. So I don't need all this. And we'll set it aside. So far we've stapled all one side. I'm going to do this side, and then we're ready to cut. Alright, so First, I'm going to cut the face, and then I'm going to cut the outside because that's where I have all the staples, right? So think about the nose. If you fold it down the center and you cut a heart upside down, then it should be your nose right there. Okay, so far we have a nose. When you fold the mouth, you're going to also do the same thing. You're going to just cut here, and I might switch over to my tiny scissors because tools matter, right? So if you have small scissors, they might work best. These are like embroidery little scissors. I'm also squaring off the teeth because I think these little round teeth were a little funny. So I'm making them a little square. That's how teeth are. Okay. So just have fun with it. You know, you can even take this and make some for, you know, the holidays, for your holiday decorations and the colors that you celebrate, right? So there you go, some teeth. So I didn't cut exactly how it is. I went ahead and just kind of did my own thing there. With the eye, the same thing. Fold it in the center, and I'm going to cut bigger eyes because those little eyes are funny. So I'm going to go ahead and cut bigger. All right, so that looks better. From the back. Same thing with the other side. Start here. Oops. And then, all right. So I'm going to shape it a little better. I didn't like that look there. I'm going to cut a little more off. That's better. Now I'm going to just cut around the whole outside. I'm going to jump over to my bigger scissors because they're easier to hold and just do the outside part. And I'm cutting almost a different shape here. Go for it. Do your thing. Okay, so I try to be real quick about this. I think it works. So here's the paper that you cut. You don't need that, but you have your multicolor skulls here, which I think are pretty cool. So we have all these here, and then some extras. Right. So do the same thing. String them like I showed you how to string them. So let's see. There's another, I guess, I don't know if I have time for one more, or do we start the Q&A? You guys let me know what you think over there. Diane.
We can do one more.
Okay.
Why don't we answer two of the questions, because there's only two that I see, other than there's a great feedback, how great this is. But I think you did answer it. How many sheets would you recommend?
Mm-hmm.
Pedazos de papel. And how do you store it? Because I know sometimes you need to take it down and save it for the next year, the next holiday.
Yes.
It's
So
the best way.
I'll show you how to fold it. So now that it's dry, I pretty much just take it and I fold it like this. And then I take the other one and I fold it. So I'm pretty much doing like this and that with it. It holds pretty well. Another way to keep one longer is to make it out of tablecloth. You know, the vinyl tablecloth, like party tablecloth?
Mm.
That's a good way to make this and really save it, you know. But even tissue holds pretty well. I mean, if you keep it. So once you did all this and you made it really nice and neat, then what I do is I take a sheet of paper and then I sandwich it between two sheets of paper. Oops. Carefully. All right. And once I've done that, I made myself just a cardboard, you know, one side of a box that it's not a folder. I just folded it in half. So these got a little messy in there, but they stay pretty well in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say just, do that, sandwich it, and then just tape the sides. And just make sure you label it Papel Picado 2020, so that you have it put away nicely. Yeah, good question. As far as how many tissues, if I'm going to do this fan fold that I'm doing, like this hand cut, I would say let's stack up to 2, maybe even 3 when you get really good at it. But for just showing you for the demo, I'm going to stick to 1 just so it's clear when I open it up and everything. But I would say for that, 2 or 3, as you get better, you'll get brave and stack up more tissue. For the X-Acto cutting, because you're on the fold and you're cutting through each cut and pressing really hard, I would say don't do more than like 6 tissues or 5, because you're folding it in half and it's becoming like 10 layers instead, plus cover paper, which is copy paper usually, and that's thick. So think about that. So scissor cutting, something like this, for example, where I'm doing kind of the same method that I use for the skull, where I'm folding onto the middle of this and cutting, and then I'm each one of these rays or triangles, I'm like folding along those lines, and then I make those cuts and I open it up, and that's how it is. So in this kind of scissor cut, I would say, yeah, again, 4 or 5 sheets. So yeah, just being delicate with it and taking your time. I feel that, and I've never tried chisel, hammer, and those types of tools the traditional way. Daniel in the video on YouTube, he does show you that. So it's really interesting to see his design chiseled with the tools that are supposed to be used. So please go and check those videos out. They're a lot of fun to just watch in the background, as you get ideas. So what I'm doing here is I'm trimming the little edge of extra, because our folds are not exact, we're just going with. So I made these folds bigger so that I have more room to make bigger shapes. Okay, another thing I can do is I can do shapes along here, and then even fold in the center and get more detailed. So it's up to you, just know that you have the top that has to be about this wide without cuts. Maybe you want to go ahead and just fold it down as a placeholder. So you know that you want to cut only down there, right? You want to also do your bottom here, scallop. So what I'm going to do is or you know what? Let me do a spike at the end here. I think we haven't done that one yet. So all you do is cut from one end to the middle down, like a V, and from one end to the middle down here. See? Mm-hmm. Your top has your fold for your yarn, and then the bottom is different. So you'll see how it turns out after. Let's see. Let's do... that. And I'm kind of just making up the shapes, as you can see. Fun. It's like making snowflakes. Really. All right, so I got that design going there. And I'm trying not to make my cuts like I want to leave space in between the shapes, because that's what keeps it together. you know. So I'm gonna just try to make it like a pattern that's consistent on one side and see what happens here. All along this edge. Let's see what happens. And since I have these spots here, I feel like might be too empty. Let me fold that and get a little more, now that I'm feeling comfortable with all this here, right? So when you start exploring, you'll see that you can make these kinds of little cuts and then open to see that you did that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. I like that tissue paper is very inexpensive, you know, so you can just go to the dollar store and it's really just gift wrap tissue. That'll work. So let's open it up.
It's pretty.
See? I think it's great.
So pretty.
Yeah, so each one being different. That's what I did with the mini ones here. I just had fun with each one. And I was like, okay, well, let's do this and let's do that. And it's just fun. So now we can stream this with the skulls, for example, right? Like it'd be cool to do like this color next to this color. I do have 2 that I pulled out of the other batch. So hey, mix it in there, you know. You have this one, then you would put the pink, magenta, and then I'd probably put like lime green next to that, right? And let's pull this aside so it's not there in the way. And then I can throw in another green skull on this end, right? And kind of make it like a pattern going there. So it's a lot of fun.
I love that this is all really from sustainable, you know, even how you are able to keep it, you know, it's like a cardboard. So
Yeah.
that's so great. And the vinyl, like these are vinyl, like you said, so these last longer.
Yeah. So you can, you know, dollar store again or any place, tablecloth, and you just cut rectangles out of that. I've done that before, and it lasts a long time. That's when I hang outdoors.
Uh-huh. And I've seen people use ribbon to make it fancier instead of string.
Right. Yeah. If you guys have a chance to go check out the music center outside where the stairs are in downtown music center, you'll see black satin hanging with a bunch of Papel Picado, and Marisela Sosa, who is amazing. She made it, and my mom helped sew it. So it's sewn together on satin ribbon, like you said, fancier, and it's really nice. If you drive by, you can check it out. It's
cool. And this is how mine came. I haven't opened it because when you said little scissors, I was like, oh, I have little sewing scissors that might be, but I just use regular scissors. It's very soothing when you're doing it. Someone else had commented that text that they love that you just changed, you know, you're like, okay, let's make it a little easier. That's what's so great.
Because my fingers will hurt if I do every single circle. It's beautiful though. You know, like go watch the video because Daniel has the tools and so the tool already has that shape for him. So he just kind of hammers it and it's, just check it out. He does every little cut. It's really nice. Yeah.
Do you know when Papel Picado was first kind of introduced to the Mexican culture?
Let me get my notes here. I do have a paragraph of information that's really interesting. So the tradition of Papel Picado originated in the 19th century in San Salvador, Huixcolotla, Puebla, when paper from China was imported to Mexico, which is what we call papel de China, right? It's tissue paper.
Right.
By the 20th century, the craft had spread throughout Mexico. Artisans craft Papel Picado by stacking 50 to 100 sheets. So imagine that. Yeah, they're hammering this in, and it's beautiful, intricate designs. So underneath their template, and then they use special chisels and hammers, you know, to carve. So that's the info that I had to share. Yeah.
I've seen the video. It's fascinating, so I recommend that to everybody. And you could always go to Self Help Graphics website in case, you know, you forget what we put on the screen in the chat. And it's just really cool. They have other great offerings too, like the autor that Martha showed. I know a lot of people are probably making their own altars, but it's great to do with, teens and kids, and you have shoe boxes around. So
definitely. And if you go to YouTube, you can definitely see SHG TV, and all of our videos are a lot of fun. I also wanted to mention we have this downloadable, printable zine, and a zine is short for like magazine, right? Like do it yourself instructions of all of our workshops. So it's really nice to have. So go ahead and print that out for yourself, or if you happen to come by the building, I know outside there's a little table set up where you can pick one up. In the back, you can scan this and enjoy a virtual reality experience. So definitely check it out.
And y'all have some great programs this coming weekend. Well, starting on Sunday, right? You guys have your main ones.
Yeah, so November 1st is Dia de los Muertos, and this will be the 47th annual. So I'd like to show you. Look how graphics. Yeah, we're really excited. And we're going to have physically, we'll have a car caravan where we're going to decorate all of our cars, and we're going to have like a caravan, a little parade, right, of Dia de los Muertos. Not parade, but you know what I mean. So we're going to be meeting up at Civic Center, East LA Civic Center, and then we're going to drive down for, I think, 30 minutes to an hour around, and you'll see us. We're going to end here at Self-Help Graphics, where Aztec dancers will be opening the ceremony and closing it. So definitely check it out, and we'll have everything online. So I know it's not clear, but go ahead and check it out online so you can have all the info better.
Yeah, it's totally worth it. And we're really lucky in LA to have self-help graphics, as part of all culture. And Martha, you are so amazing. And I love that noise was going on around, because, that's what's happening to all of us.
Yeah, we're working.
Yeah, you just keep powering through. So I hope everybody was able to try their hand at the template. And my tissue was a little different. It was a little thicker, which they have this kind too.
Yeah.
Still like 99 cents. But it's a little easier if you have younger kids, I know, than the real thin tissue paper. So,
right.
But I love the idea of getting a tablecloth, even your used ones, and then just cleaning them up. That's great.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
So I don't see any more questions. So I hope everyone enjoyed this program. And unless, Martha, do you have anything else to add, or anything we forgot to talk about? Or
I think we're good. This was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for having us visit.
Hopefully next week. Yes, well, hopefully we can have you in 2021. Self-Help has done some programs at our branches too in the past. So hopefully we'll be able to have them again when we eventually open up. And so please check out our programs on Dia de los Muertos on Monday at 5 o'clock. Va a estar en español alguno de los programas y la música. So it'll be bilingual. And on Saturday, there is a Halloween story time, and there's one story that'll be bilingual if you want to join us then. And check out Self-Help Graphics. And we're really lucky in LA to have so many amazing programs. So thanks for joining us, and catch us next week at 4 o'clock for the next LA Made with the LA Conservancy. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
Adios.
Bye.